Hello, folks, and welcome to the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel. We're going to be imaging two Messier um, galaxies, M95 and M105. I am set up and ready to go, so let's get the show on the road. Okay, we are outside right now, and I have the both telescopes set up and ready to get started. This refractor is going to be imaging in M105, and this larger reflector is going to be imaging M95. So let's head over to the software and I'll show you what I've set up. This is the refractor, which is the telescope that was on the right in the surveillance camera picture we looked at just a minute ago, and that is set up to image 105. I also imaged last night. I wasn't live, and I imaged 105, and I got around 3 hours of imaging time in. And so I took 60 red filtered, 60 green, and 60 blue filtered mono images, and I will be combining those for a color image in post processing. And I want to add some more images to this stack so that I'll have 150 red images, 125 green, and 125 blue. I'm probably going to drop this to 130. So that's the plan. And then with the other kit, bring this up. This is the larger reflector, the Smith Cassegrain, and last night I imaged M95. It's just going to look like a little smudge right now, but once I combine 315 images, and last night I took 154, so I'm going to add to that. Let's just make it an even 300. It's going to take me 2 hours and 26 minutes to do that. So let's go ahead and let's slew this. Let's see, is there anything else we need to see? Because these aren't all, these exposures aren't going to be that long. They're going to be 60-second exposures at a gain of 105, an offset of 21. I've cooled the camera sensor to minus 20 degrees. Well, it's at 19.8 right now. And let's see. Telescope is currently in a park position, and we're going to change that. This is the focus data. This is where I focus the telescope. I can take individual images through frame and focus. The guiding software will display here for me, and these are the statistics that I'll be watching throughout the night. Particularly, I'll be interested in the mean ADU number, and this will tell me what my signal is going to be like. And so other software I'll be using will be guiding software, and this is PhD2. I may also look at this planetarium software, and my mount is currently right here where this circle is. And I will probably, no probably, I'll be, This is my virtual hand controller. Let me bring that back up, and I'll be running a periodic error correction. And so I want to go ahead and get that set up. And I'll be guiding in sidereal plus periodic error correction. And I need to go back to the other kit. You may have lost you there. Okay, now we're back. And I need to bring up the hand controller for that telescope. And I need to enable PECA's on, and I want to run sidereal plus a periodic error correction. So all is looking good. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. So we're on the reflector, the smaller of the two telescopes, and let's go ahead and slew to our target now. And we'll go outside on the surveillance camera, and as soon as that connects, we'll see the telescope moving. Hopefully, there it goes. So the telescope is moving to the target. By the way, I am inside my home, and that's why you don't see me outside. Under these towels are two laptops. One's connected to this telescope and one's connected to this Smith Cassegrain, and I'm in the house connected to both of them with Wi-Fi. And then right behind me is this surveillance camera. So that's what we're working at, and I sure hope I don't smack my lips all night tonight. So let's go back to our let's see, we want to go back to our software, and we want to center on our target. So now we're plate solving, and then I want to go on over to the other telescope and slew to its target. So let's do that, and let's bring up our outside, and so you see the Smith Cassegrain is moving to its target. It's computer driven, and so it's going to locate the target and plate solve, which means center the target so they can start imaging. And so we did a slew. Now we're going to center the target. It's taken a reference frame, so it's taken an image, and it's going to compare it to a database of stars in this region, and it's going to move the telescope to a dead center onto the target. Well, I say dead center, within a few pixels. And so it completed the slew, and right now we failed to center it. We're 153 pixels off in right ascension, and we're 81 pixels off in declination. So he'll do it again until he gets a better, more centered target. That's actually pretty good. I could go with that. And we had a success. We're 1.8 pixels off in dec and 13 pixels off in right ascension, and there is the target. So let's go ahead and connect our guiding software, and start guiding. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, I am sure. I've got to go outside and take the, these are hot pixels. I'm going to have to go outside and take the cap off the end of the telescope. So I'll be back in a minute. Let's go back in. Can't very well guide. And so we had a success on the other refractor. We'll go ahead and get that one started. And so we don't need to run it again. We're 6 pixels off in RA and 1 pixel off in DEC. So let's bring up PhD and let's start guiding. Down here it tells me we're moving along. And so we can go back and start to run the sequence. And it's going to slew to the target again. It's going to run an autofocus and set the red filter. And we need to bring the filters up here. And right now it's setting the red filter and it's moving it to red, and so it's going to focus, which is good. Okay. It's going to take a series of pictures, and while it's doing that, I'm going to head outside and take the cap off the guide scope so that I can guide with the other kit. And let's do that now. I'll let you stay on this autofocus. I need more coffee anyway. No, I don't. I just need to drink what I have. Sorry, teeth got to go out. Michelle just needs to get cooled. I heard you. Yep. Okay. If there's any comments, I can't. Let me get started and I'll look and see. I waited too late to put a notice up, so I doubt very many people know I'm even doing this. Let's head back to the other telescope and let's just disconnect and reconnect. And let's start looping. Okay, I think I'm going to go down to 1 second with my guiding. And all right, get that rocking and rolling. Just lost you. And let's go to, need to go here. And let's start this one. We need to run an autofocus too. As well. All right, let me see if I can. There I am smacking my lips. I sure hope I don't do that. Tell me if I'm smacking them. Okay. All right. And we're doing a focus run. What it does is it takes a picture. First, it automatically defocuses the telescope X amount of what we call steps. And a step is a micron of a uh, movement, and the focuser is being racked either in or out in order to achieve focus. So it takes a picture, it racks it all the way out, takes a picture, and it should be defocused. And then it will bring it in X amount of steps. I have that set up. I think it's 60 steps with this reflector camera combination. And then it should improve focus because it's racking it back in now. And then it continues to do that until it gets to a point where it starts running in the opposite direction, and it creates a V curve, and where those V's intersect is the absolute best area of focus. So running it again, I clicked on it because I didn't think it was going to run it the first time. So let's move back over to the other one, and we're already taking pictures. So we have 15 seconds left on the first one. And this is the this is the M105 cluster. M105 is right here. And I'm going to stretch this a little more. And possibly a little more. But you can see 3 galaxies in here with N95. And so this is what I'm aiming for. And I'll be stacking these images in order to bring us to life. Hopefully, that's the plan. The mean is looking very good. The mean ADU is looking very good. Guiding doesn't look all that great, but we're at 0.85 and I can live with that. That's okay. I wish it was a little better, but as long as it's under 1.0 with this camera and this telescope, the stars should be okay. Last night I started having problems with this telescope and I was getting a spike in RA and I just couldn't figure it out. I went out and checked cables. I brought up the pulse. This is my periodic error correction curve, but I brought the pulse guide monitor, and I had these predictable dips in the worm gear. This is moving across the gear, and but I had these predictable spikes. Here's one here, and as soon as the gear in the telescope reaches this, then that spike will be reflected in my graph, and it's just some movement, and it can cause blurry stars when your mount isn't tracking pixel on pixel. It creates some problems. So let's and I am running a periodic error curve. It's been set up, and down here you can tell that I'm tracking in sidereal plus periodic error correction, and this is the curve, and this is the telescope moving over the worm gear. And then this is a live example of the guiding that's happening right now. And we're at 0.52 RMS total on this one. And I wish the other one was at 0.52 because it's a larger telescope and it needs to be better than 0.85 to have tight, sharp stars. But I don't always get that. In fact, I more often than not will be in the 1.0 range, maybe 1.2 or 0.8. I fall into that, and it's all based on scene conditions. Nothing else changes. But we have some pretty decent scene tonight. We had pretty decent scene last night, so I don't know. Let's go back out to our target. We are taking red filtered images. I always uncheck this so that I don't accidentally hit park, and I've done that before. And this is the focus control. We've focused everything, so we should be in pretty good shape. The half flux radius, which is a measure of my star focus, is fine. The mean is at 1172, and the higher my telescope gets in the sky. Right now, let's see where we are. The telescope is, and I'm looking right here where it says NA. Telescope is at 64 degrees, and I'll transit at 11 o'clock, which means that the telescope will track across the meridian, and when that happens, which is 9, 10, 10, 11, in another hour, see how the telescope, I just connected, and see how the telescope is tracking in this direction, well, these weights are going up higher. And when they get to the point where the weights are higher really than the telescope can bang into this steel pier if you didn't flip them out. So what I do is we call it a meridian flip. So when you cross the meridian, the telescope ends up slewing back this way, looking up, and the weights are on this side, and the telescope's on this side, and telescope tracks up, and therefore I don't have any concerns about the telescope running into the mount. So they're both going to have to flip, and uh, and they're going to both flip really about the same time because I'm in the same part of the sky, not too far apart, with M95 and M105. So we can, and the other telescope is pretty much in the same place. Let's see how our guiding's going now. Yeah, we went up to 0.63. That's fine. That's good for me. And then let's head over to the other one and let's see how that's going. We're at 1.0, so 0.99. So I wish it was going to be in the 0.6, 0.5 range because the camera image scale is about 0.54. So anytime my RMS is greater than my image scale, then I do run a risk of having oblong stars or having bloated stars. And they can be fixed in post processing. I've learned how to do that because most of the time my RMS is greater than the image scale, and I have to figure out a way to make presentable stars. But these are consumer mounts. They're not high grade uh, mounts. They're what most folks can afford that get into this hobby. The They can get extremely expensive, and I'll never go there because I can get what I want done without having to. So let's go back and see. We're finishing up an image, and let's see what it's going to look like. So here is probably, we've taken several. Let me stretch this a little more and zoom up a little more. But this is the core of the galaxy, and you cannot see it, but there's data all around here that's coming in. Now, you're probably going to ask me, shouldn't I be taking longer exposures? And not as long as my mean's around 916 to 1200. I'm getting some good signal. I can't see it, but I'm going to stack a lot of images together and I'll get it. So that's the plan. In fact, let me go over here to PixInsight, which is the software that I use. You can't see this, but uh, I'm loading a software program that you will be able to see in a minute. I hope. You're not going to be able to see everything, but while images are taking place, you can't also see at the very top of the page, but I'm going to open up a project that I worked on today uh, from something I took 2 nights ago and took some of it last night, and that was, this is from last night, 410, and I'm adding to that. So this is NGC 3521, and I used that larger reflector and the one-shot color camera with the uh, L Pro filter. So I'm going to open up this project that I worked on, and it's going to load it. And because this galaxy that I took 2 nights ago is it's slightly smaller than the one I'm taking uh, tonight, M105. So I'm sorry, M95. M95 is larger than this galaxy, which is NGC 3521. So uh, while that's loading, I'll come back to that. Let's go back to uh, do 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 do. Move over to the other one. Let's head back over to PixInsight. Okay, it loaded the project and it's not done, but this will give you an idea of this galaxy and the size of it. It's a beautiful little galaxy. So this isn't what I'm imaging tonight. This is what I imaged 2 nights ago, and I only did a couple of hours worth. So it could use some more imaging time, more data. And if I had more data, I would have more of this dust and cloudy area around the galaxy that I'm losing. Because this is the faintest part of the image, and it's amazing. This is about 20 million light years away. So if you wanted to go visit, if you could travel at the speed of light, 20 million years and you're there. Yeah, a long time. Let's go back. And down here on this green bar, it's telling me that we're working on frame number 79, and it's a 60-second image, and we have 22 seconds left, and then it'll take another one. So let's check our guiding and see where we're in the 40s, mid 40s, and I say 40.46 right now, which I wish I had on the other telescope. I need to go focus my guide scope better than it is. I have now the peak is looking pretty good. You want your star to have a sharp peak, but the half flux uh, radius on this is 3.86, which is pretty high. So I think I could improve my situation slightly because this is the star that I'm guiding on, and it's keeping this star centered. Here's also the same star, and it's keeping it centered, and it's sending these corrections. Here's this blue line that you see is the declination correction, and if you see a red line, it's correcting the mount in declination. Most of my corrections are right ascension. Here's a bump, and that messes with your guiding because it's about a 4 arc second bump, and it sent a real big correction to bring it back in line. So this is what keeps the star centered, so my telescope can take images without the stars being all blurry, which happens. And this is M95. I'm sorry. This is M95 with the reflector, Smithcaster grain. And we're going to have 300 images in all. When I'm said and done, we have 2 hours left to expose. On this other telescope, I imaged I did some solar imaging today and yesterday. I processed some of yesterday's. Why isn't this? Because it wants to be contrary. That's fine. Let's go to this drive. And I'm going to open one of these images I took, hopefully. Let's try it again. There we go. Let me close this out. I've lost my. Open it back up. Try this again. And okay, now we can. So this is an image of the sun. I want to do select and process all. I haven't processed it. It's we're going to bring this up. And we're also going to reset this curve at an anchor point and bring that up, and then bring this up, and oops, and so it'll take it a second. It's processing it. We're at 40%. There he goes. So I was curious to see if there's anything on the rim of the sun worth looking at. And we can sharpen it some. And raise the sigma. Sharpen it a little more. So we have a huge filament on the plasma on the surface of the sun. We got a filament here that's hotter. It's a solar flare. It's shooting up at us, and sunspots all around it. We have some flares that can be seen on the rim of the sun. And so let's head back and make sure nothing's crashed. Okay, we're moving along. We've got both telescopes. Let's see, getting close. In 45 minutes, they both will be transiting. So you can see the weights are getting high. And we'll be doing a meridian flip at the transit. And once I'll probably stay with this until the transits, and then I'll go to bed, and this will finish up nicely. Park the scope, and so. Hey Darren, how are you doing? Darren's joined us tonight. I'm imaging M95 and M105. This is M95, and really all you're able to see is this core, the core of the galaxy. But it's a pretty good sized galaxy, and so I'm stacking a lot of images. As a matter of fact, I'll be stacking 300 images, and I have 174 already in the can. So I've got another 2 hours and 5 minutes of imaging time left, and we'll be doing good. So let's move that over. And then on the other telescope, I'm imaging, actually it's M105, but there's a cluster of galaxies all here together, and it's pretty cool. Oh, here's one of those spikes I was telling you about, which will screw up the image. So uh, when this is finished, in fact, it's probably this image. Let me, so yeah, you can tell. See, when that spike happened, I got this effect on these stars. So I'll have to right click and mark this one as bad. There's no point in keeping it. So I won't use it. So I have to delete stars that are affected. And once I've gone to bed, when this happens, I'm not around to mark them bad. So I go through them and blink through them before I start processing. And I will get rid of those stars. But at any rate, so we're looking at M105 now, and a cluster of galaxies. And this is NGC 3521. It's in the same area, and M95 is slightly larger than let's see, no, M105 is slightly large. M95, I'm sorry, I'm getting them confused, is slightly larger than this galaxy. Not a whole lot. This is 7 arc minutes, and I think M95 is not almost 10 arc minutes, so about 30% larger. Oh, that Peck doesn't. Peck is very helpful, Darren, but it doesn't uh, stop those spikes from happening. We've had a lot of gusty wind, and I can have a cable snag or dragging. Uh, in fact, what I do is let's see, I'll go back. Don't need the news. Is this where it's at? Here's another one. So what I'll do is, in fact, let's check this one real quick. So it didn't happen to this one. So I'm downloading. This is the one where the spike probably, yeah, see, it screwed it up. So I'm gonna right click and mark this one as bad. And this was happening to me last night. So I brought up here we go. Let me bring it back. I lost it. So here are this is the guide pulse monitor showing me when it's sending these massive pulses in RA, and so it's coming back again. So you'll see a blue line show up in a minute. There it is, and it's moving through the worm gear, and when it gets over here, I'll get another one of those spikes. What I can't figure out is why. So I could turn Peck off, and I still have it. Well, it doesn't always happen, Darren. It just doesn't. See that this spike right here happened right here, but this is predictable, and that's why I'm a little puzzled, because it just started. It was we've got probably 45 minutes of imaging in without, with guiding in the 0.40, 0.50 range RMS, and so I don't know. but it's about to, it's moving across. And as soon as it gets to that, well, it seems to have settled down now. Up, here it comes. It didn't send any pulses for a while. Let's see what it is right now, the RMS. It's 0.49 right now, but it's about to change because here's the, we're getting close to this spike. Well, this is where it spiked the last time it crossed this part of the worm. So we're getting close to it. When you see the blue line, it's sending pulses. Okay, there it went. And it's a whole new set of, and so there's my spike. So I'm just not sure I know what's going on. If there's something on the worm gear, then it would more than likely repeat this over and over and over again. But this is like last night. I had about 30-40 minutes of this nonsense. I went out and checked cables. I did everything I could do without actually trying to touch, because I was still imaging the mount. And I checked everything that I could see, and everything looked fine. But we were having wind gust, but not wind gusts that happen at the same time every time, same place every time. So I ruled that out, and then it stopped. And I had no problems the rest of the imaging session last night. And I ended up with probably a 0.90 average RMS for the entire night. And I don't think it went over 1 at all. But the scene was good. And this is all scene related. So, I don't know. But I've got a couple frames in there, or I know I have one in there where I've got this spike and that spike that I'll throw away. So right now, here it comes, pulse-wise. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this issue is still present. This one ain't going away for a while. It didn't last night, but this one, we're going to find out real quick. Yep, there it went. There's the spike and PhD down here. Oh, it's gotten worse. All right, and so here's the PET curve right here. This is where we are on the worm. I may just go ahead and create another PEC, but I want to wait until after I flip the mount at 11 o'clock. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Let's, there's that RA spike. Let me double check when this mount flips. Let's go back to the screen. And by the way, I think this is one of the bad. Yep, mark is bad. Okay. And let's Let's bring up planning, and it transits at 11:03. And so do at a time the other. This is a picture I took of the sun yesterday. I imaged it today too. All right, let's find out what time this one transits about the same time. At 10:59. So, and then I've got about 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours left, and I'll image till about there. That's 40 degrees. I'm looking at right here. That'll be about 40 degrees. So I've got 1 hour, 2 hours, 3.5 hours left to image this before it gets too low in the sky for my taste, and which is just fine because I only have 2 hours of imaging time left, so I'll have no problem getting my 300 subs. And guiding here looks to be okay. Not great, but whoop, I've got something going on there. I'm at 107 RMS, and that's because of this whatever. And let's reset it. So if this one didn't run into those bloody spikes, we would have good numbers for this mount. So there we go. Had a bump there with a correction in deck and some corrections in RA. So we're going to end up about 1 where we were before. But I've learned to live with those numbers, and sometimes it's worse, much worse, and try to fix everything in post-processing. And so on our way to 300 images, and these are just 60-second images. And I used to take fewer images, but I would take 180, 240, 300-second images because I'm at f7, and I would end up with these inflated mean levels of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, and I'm getting the signal at 60 seconds when I stack 300 images. Now, you do stack some noise, but noise is so manageable now with post-processing noise management that I don't worry about it. Noise is not my enemy anymore. It's not my friend, but it's not my enemy. In fact, I've gotten to where I don't even set up dithering because it takes imaging time. And it's because noise is so manageable. And I take much shorter exposures. When I put the RASA on, which is an f4, f4, f3.f4 telescope, I'm taking 5-second and 10-second exposures. And that's nuts. I can get enough data with that, but that's pretty much wide field. About 400 millimeter. Let's go see what our spikes are doing on the other one. I know I'm in for about an hour worth of problems. So here we go. Nothing's changed. Let's go back to our. Uh, yeah, I've picked up more. It's gotten worse. Okay, I'm gonna drop my gain down here to about 25. I'm gonna be deleting a lot of these red images, and if it doesn't stop, I'll be deleting a lot of all of them. All right, we're coming to a point where last time we were here, we got into insanity spiking. Let's see if it happens. Yep. Oh, that's terrible. That's a bad one. All right, we're at 14 seconds left, so that sub's going to be trashed as soon as it downloads. And so it's and let's zoom up and double check it. Yeah, I know I've got some more that are bad too. Let's just go ahead and scroll. That's okay. That's bad. About like every other one. That's okay. That's bad. It is every other one. What is good about marking these bad is that now is that it's removed from the count, and so it is every other one. So it'll continue to take another bad. Okay, we're getting a new download right now, and that looks fine. All right, these are already marked. So I got a few of them. It doesn't make any difference, Darren. Yes, Bill, when I'm recording the PEC, I was imaging. Um, Not only did I record my PEC, Bill, with the while I was imaging, I was guiding at the same time. Now I don't. If I use PinPro, when I use PinPro to do this, then I won't guide, and all I do is run the PEC. But when I use EQ mode, um, I kind of followed Chris Giletto's uh, advice, and which really wasn't advice. He just said it's okay to guide and it's okay to run PhD. So I did. Well, I don't dither, Bill. I don't dither when I run the PEC. When I image, when I'm imaging and running PEC, then I don't dither. In fact, I've gotten to the point where, with noise management being as good as it is, I don't even worry about dithering when I take short exposures. I just stop doing it. It takes up imaging time, and I really had a hard time seeing the advantage. Uh, I probably could be proven wrong, but I count on a lot of fixing going on in post processing. Here it comes again. So I tell you what I'll do. Uh, I don't have dithering going on now, and I'll go ahead and start running another PEC curve. And let me unenable. What did I do? Let's see. Got too many windows open. I've got nothing else to do anyway. So I've turned off PEC. And so I'll shut this one out, and I'll start to, let me make sure. I'll do 9 cycles. And let's go. So I'm going to start recording. I'm not dithering, but I am imaging. Oh no, I don't. Never mind. I'm going to transit in a few minutes. Transit, we're going to have to flip this in 20 minutes. So I'm just going to stop uh, and cancel the whole thing. No point. Think I can get 3 cycles in? Yeah, could. 20 minutes. Let me double check and make sure I'm not dithering. I don't think I am. Yeah, I've got it turned off. So there's my deep dive. Bill, what has puzzled me is that for the first hour tonight, I didn't have this problem. And that was the same thing last night. For the first hour, I didn't have the problem with this kit. And then it started doing this about every 120 seconds, and then it stopped, and I didn't have the problem the rest of the imaging session. So I don't know. I don't know. It may. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I'm. There we go. I didn't click. Check. Yeah. Now we're capturing. I'm using an Atlas Pro EQ-AZ. It's a Skywatcher HEQ 6, 5, 5, 6. No, it's not reoccurring. No. As a matter of fact, it doesn't. As you well know, you can have 2 mounts that are identical mounts and get different performance. Um, and I'm outside now. Well, where am I? There we go. It's connecting to my outside mounts. So I'm running 2 telescopes right now, and these are both Atlas Pro mounts. Um, this is the one over here that's giving me a fit. I really can't see what the cables are doing, but I've already been outside. I did that last night when this started to happen, just to see if I was getting wind gust, if that, but that really wasn't much of a factor, and the cables are pretty secure, so I don't think that's had anything to do with it. Could have, but I don't think it does. So we're building another pet curve. And we had another spike. And I will tell you this also, it stopped after the flip. So there just has to be something in the mechanics of the mount with the worm, and maybe the balance on one side of the meridian, because it started behaving about the same time, the same way last night. I went an hour with guiding in the 40s, 0.40, and then the last hour before the flip, I got these periodic spikes. I don't know. I don't know if it's happening every 8 minutes. Well, no, the spikes are happening about every 120 minutes. I mean, every 120 seconds, every 2 minutes. Because I'm getting a good frame and then I'm getting a bad frame. And they're 60 seconds long. So seems like about every other frame is having some issues. In July, I take these mounts stay out year round. Uh, they stay covered with telegizmos, but they're out year round. In July, I take the mounts in and take them apart and re-grease. And here's one of my goofy spikes. Now it's happening both in RA and DEC right now, and heretofore that was just a RA problem. DEC was not an issue. Keep thinking, Bill. Help me figure this out. So here it goes. The very first hour, my RMS is less than 0.50 with no spikes. The second hour, and we're really not changing altitude that much. It's not like we're pointing much higher in the sky, because here is the path that this mount's taking. We're at, I started about here, and I was at 60 degrees. It's here and it's only 68 degrees, so it's not like there's a significant difference in altitude. But as soon as I flip, which is about to happen, then he'll stop. if it's like last night. No, it doesn't. But you got me thinking. Huh. And then if I go over to the other kit, which is also imaging, did the sun today also. And this is the other, this is the Smith Cassegrain. And I'm not having any spikes. I don't have great guy. I'm at 0.72 with the Smith Cassegrain. And no spikes, which has nothing to do. The two mounts, although they're the same make, bought at the same time, they both behave uniquely different, and two mounts always will. Yeah, this is moving along fine. And let's see how my crap. I'll start over on that. I'm just going to go ahead and let it flip, and when it does, I'm going to start another pick. Lord. Yes. Yeah. On both axes. Gonna get another little bump right now. There it went. That's from here. I don't know. Darren, I hadn't even thought of that. I don't know. I can change. I use the Pegasus Ultimate Power Boxes for data and as my data hub and my power hub. And but the USB cable from the Atlas Pro mount, I got several backups of that. Might not hurt to go ahead and change those, but I don't think it's that. Here's where I'm thrown. Oops. This is where I'm totally thrown for loss. I'm on AC. I'm not on battery, but I don't even have a battery. Well, I do, but yeah, I do, but I'm not. And I haven't even considered this. Here's what I'm struggle with: the first hour, good RMS numbers. The second hour before transit spikes about every 120 seconds. Sometimes it's every 240 seconds, but it can happen every 120 seconds. Then I transit and it runs fine with RMSs back in the 0.50, 0.60 as it was last night. And I think I probably averaged about 0.80 all the way through the west side of the flip. So, I don't know. At any rate, I doubt I won't get this in. I'm going to go ahead and stop this as soon as I flip. And as soon as I flip, I'll start it again. That's just nuts. And so let's go back. Yep, back to my son. Yep, got the news. And this is the SCT, the Edge. And guiding in the 80s. By the way, Bill, if you're still on, I really, really, really like your contributions you've made to PixInsight. If you guys don't know, I don't need Discord. PixInsight. Just Bill has these star reduction tools, not to mention, let me just close this out. These star reduction tools that I've added, not to mention a number of other tools that I use that really make PixInsight processes, a number of them, very, very helpful. And Bill's made a major contribution to post-processing, and I appreciate it, Bill. Sure enough, dude. If you're not familiar with Bill Blanchard, you need to. I'll put a link to his YouTube videos when I finish this, and you can trip over there and watch him go through his contributions to both combining starless with star images, to tricks on processes that you can download as process icons and do this all yourself, which is what I've done. And there's a number of them you can work with, but everything from enhancing your narrowband colors, show palettes, getting the pop in your narrowband images. Good stuff. Okay, we're getting close to the flip time. I think I've got this set up where I wait a few minutes past This one's going to flip it in 4 minutes, but I think I have this set up so that it waits 5 minutes. Let's go to telescope flip. Yeah, I wait 5 minutes past the meridian before I flip. By the way, you need to wait at least 2 or 3 minutes, or I do, because if you flip and don't have a pause, then your mount may have difficulty making a correction. See you, Darren. Thanks for jumping on board. And because it can't move back against the meridian if it's trying to plate solve. So you need some wiggle room. Or at least I need some wiggle room on mine, because I didn't have this pause before, and I was having a difficult time plate solving immediately after the flip. It just wouldn't move the mount back towards the meridian in RA, so it couldn't plate solve. So you need some wiggle room so that you can recenter your target, especially after you've gone to bed. Okay, so this is going to flip at 11:05, and the other one's going to be about the same. And then I'll start this PEC stuff again, and I'll do both of them. I'll restart both of them. Well, the other one's working fine. I won't worry about that one. Okay, we're flipping. So let me go outside. So one of them has already started. All right, this one's already started flipping. So the weights are going to be on the west side, and the telescope's going to be on the east side. East shooting west. And then in a couple of minutes, this one's going to start flipping. So let's go back out, and let's this will start plate solving as soon as it settles down. Go back out and watch this one flip. This one's going to recenter. And start imaging again. But once this recenters and starts imaging again, I want you to see that we're not going to have those spikes, I don't think, if it's like it was last night. picture, it looks like my dew shield's all crooked. Probably is. Huh. I would have thought that would have started by now. Let's head over there. So this is plate solving now. We're 80 pixels off, 30 in RA and 51 in declination. Plate solving is nothing more than centering the telescope on the target. And it succeeded. So it's going to restart the auto guider, which is what it's doing now. There's our target. And pick up where we left off. So it's starting this. And you can see that it is guiding again. Doesn't look real good, but it'll settle down. And it's going to start taking images. So it's taken the first one at 52 seconds. So let's head over to the other telescope. And this one, I don't see a spike here. I'll tell you what, it does look like, oh, it's flipping. Let's go back. So this one should be moving now. Yep. Flip, flip, flip away. You can't see them, but I have, well, you can see one of them right here. I've got a GoPro watching this mount and a GoPro watching this mount, and I'm doing a time lapse. But I'm just kind of interested in seeing if there's anything that's going on either of the mounts as it takes its trip through the night. So we're plate solving now. Which again is centering them out. Last time we were guiding, we got the nice arc. I'm using plate solve too. I meant to change that back to to pinpoint. We're way off. 1284 pixels in RA and 1100 in dec. So he'll fix it. Better. Yep. And it's going to start the guider. So let's go back up and all right, let's see what happens now. Keep in mind, last night, once I flipped, didn't have the problem anymore. So even though we're starting out, we're in the low 60 50, high 50. Let's head over to, and let's start. Let's go ahead and pick 9 cycles. And let's start Ricard refresh, start. Okay. Yeah, we're going. So okay, we're building another. So RMS now is 0.4544. I haven't had a bump yet. And this was the case last night. Go figure. Now, Bill Blanchard brought up something. I want to make sure I'm not dithering. No, no dither. Okay. All right, good. So we're about to take our first image. Downloading, and it's actually our second image. It looks good. And there's our no bump. Crazy. Well, folks, I'm going to bid everybody a good night. And catch you the very next time I'm live, which will probably be tomorrow night. In fact, I'll go live tomorrow night. I think we're supposed to have one more night of decent skies. And we'll see if this new pet curve helps. I'll try to pick another target. I don't want to add any more to this one, but I'll try to pick another target somewhere in the same region, so we can see if we have a repeating problem. I spoke too soon. That I can probably live with. Let's see what that looks like. I'm still 0.58, so that's still fine. All right, I will catch you later. If you joined me, thanks for having done so, and I hope everybody has some clear skies in their neck of the woods.